Hi everyone. We as a church at City Life, we just finished the topic, the theme, the Helper, which is the Holy Spirit. It has been, it's an impactful and challenging in a way for myself and for I'm sure for some of you. So today we're going to do a reflection and about what we've been going through on this series. So I think we start with Ron.
Yes.
Of the series.
From the start, beforehand, I was focused on that John 14:16, Jesus in the upper room with the disciples, and then out walking around with them, really focusing on the last thing that he was to do with them. And his main deal with them at that time was to learn to serve each other, the whole foot washing thing, loving each other, which was the new command he gave to them, and then the empowerment of the Holy Spirit to do that. And the two emphases, he speaks about the Holy Spirit twice, and the two emphases are, the first one is about the presence of the Holy Spirit, to be with you and to be in you and empowering you. And then the second one is the empowering of the Spirit for their witness, convicting the world of sin and judgment and righteousness. So those two powerful things, the presence of God and the convicting power of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, that's good. Then continue on with Adrian.
Yeah, on the third week, I got to speak about the day of Pentecost, where the Holy Spirit comes, this day that Jesus promised about in John 14:16. And the thing that really struck me, reading that story again, was that there was two responses to the baptism and the filling of the Holy Spirit in God's people. And there were some that were curious and amazed by what God was doing. They didn't know what was happening, but they were curious about it. And then there were others who ridiculed it and had some sort of rational explanation for what was happening. And so they criticized this. And so just looking at those two different responses and asking ourselves, well, what response are we going to have to God's work of his Spirit in our lives? Because, if you're looking at our Western culture, we can be very rational and try and explain everything away.
Yep.
But God is supernatural, and that's how he works, and he's given us his Spirit, and he works through us. So we need to loosen ourselves from the bonds of rationalism and everything that Western culture has constructed, and just let God work through us. And that's a process, and for some that happens immediately, and for others it's a journey, like myself, which led to our final week, which we heard testimonies from 3 wonderful people, part of our church, and what I loved was that they all had a different experience with the Spirit. Liz shared, my wife, and she spoke about her experience about growing up in a Christian family and how there wasn't this one big moment of being filled with the Spirit. It was just this natural progression of her Christian life.
I was really keen, because Ricardo was next.
Yeah.
And when I listened to it back, because I wasn't there, his story is the same as mine.
Yeah.
In totally different context, but the same story of traditional church, anti-Pentecostal, being invited into that, but then having to sort of break down and open up to it, and then allow the Spirit. So that was fun for me.
Yeah, I loved Ricardo's story. It was amazing.
Right.
Yeah. And then we heard from Stuart, who had a different story again, which was didn't grow up in a Christian family and started dating this wonderful Christian woman who soon was to become his wife, but just had this very black and white encounter with God, and the Spirit just completely transformed his life. So
that's good.
Yeah, it's been a great month.
Yeah, no, that's been encouraging, and I think the word encounter and experiencing the Holy Spirit in our life. So for me, I'm probably similar. It wasn't like a Western culture because I'm, I guess, engineer a bit of things. So I became quite logical, and that was actually quite a challenge for me. It takes a bit of a process to be able to experience. The Holy Spirit. Now, one of the things bring back to what Ron's saying is that it's a helper, that he will be with you. So it wasn't. I think for me, what I got on the first week is that it wasn't the Old Testament concept of the Spirit, but it is basically that Holy Spirit actually within us. And I think for me that's challenging. Not challenging in the way that's hard, but it's actually challenged me to how can I engage Holy Spirit in everyday life?
Yeah.
Because if He is with me, not only when we are on the church setting, on the cell group setting, what is the Holy Spirit looks like in our daily life, and as a mother, as a uni student,
Exactly.
as a high school student, primary, and whatever, how that's gonna looks like. And I think that we need to engage the Holy Spirit on that. So I think it's been an encouraging, month.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been great.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Very
that's
good.
good. So if you have any testimony about Holy Spirit, so you feel free to contact one of us, and we love to hear about that as well. Okay, God
Cool.
bless you.
See ya.
Done.